I'm Irene Williams, and this show is Small Biz Big Time. We are here with the world's leading LinkedIn trainer, Mike O'Neill. Mike, I have some questions for you. Obviously, you're the LinkedIn guy, but the reality is there's a lot of great local events that we all need to connect to within our communities. Can you give me a little insight on how you, Master Networker, would advise making the best of local events?
Well, sure. Our business has been around for 6 years. In the first 3 years, we were purely in the event business. And now we're doing both. We kind of do the in-person event operations, SocialNet and LinkedIn Live events. And we also have our LinkedIn operations now, but it wasn't always that way. Mm-hmm. So what I found is that there's usually some place around town where there's a registry of events. We got something here? Probably.
Oh, sure.
We have like Link to Denver and W3W3 Internet Radio. There's like 5 or 6 places to register because we register our events there. So that's how I know about
Exactly.
them. And I make sure that I visit each one of them to understand what the culture is like. And if I don't go back, I make sure someone else goes back a couple times. I want 2 or 3 brand impressions of integrated alliances. Mm-hmm. And when we go, we make sure that we meet the person who's putting it on. And I'll spend 5 minutes generally in conversations. You know that 7 minute, the 7 minute rule? Is that what they call it? But I'll spend 10 or 15 if I can with the host there because we're kind of talking at a peer level in some cases. Other times, I want them to remember me more than anyone else. And, of course, I do invite them to join me on LinkedIn. I praise them for the event. I also ask people at these networking events, who are your disciples? Do you have other people in the room that I should meet? Who here is someone that I want to make sure that I talk to before I leave? They'll usually know who the power movers are.
That's a great tip. That is excellent because I've been to so many events and you walk in and it takes a lot of nerve to even show up at all when you're unfamiliar. But to connect with the leader of the group is a wonderful idea to remember, a nugget to take away from this show.
Well, one thing that we do in our events, our SocialNet and LinkedIn Live events, have ambassadors. Have you seen ambassadors?
I have not.
Chambers have ambassadors, and the job of the chamber ambassador is to answer questions about the chamber. Well, that's good for the chamber, but that's not good for people. So what we do, our ambassadors mix things up in the room. They have many 5- and 10-minute conversations with 2 people who don't know each other. They get it started, and then they move on to another, move on to another. That's a great job. I'd rather have that job than my job at the event sometimes because I got to make sure there's food on the table and stuff. So that ambassadorship sort of, walking around with somebody is a great idea. And we'll have people actually walk around in teams, and they'll kind of split up, and they'll come back together and say, who did you find? Oh, I found someone over there. Make sure you go meet with them. So you get this kind of cross-section that happens in a room. It works in a small room, too. You can do this with 20 people in a room. It doesn't have to be a 200-person event.
Yeah, it's very interesting to me to understand the orchestration that you use. And I know a lot of my friends, colleagues, and clients, we become concerned. We don't want to be too designed in how we approach people, but the reality is these are networking events. That's why you showed up. So there's nothing wrong with pocketing some of this information and being artful in your approach to making the most of a meeting.
Can we do a third tip? Is that allowed?
That is totally allowed.
How about a third
Please,
tip? This is
third tip.
One of my best tips. This is one that I keep close to me here, and I'm sharing with the audience. I always stay late. I'm the last one to leave, at least at the first time at these events that I go to an event for the first time. And I help them pack up, carry stuff to the car. I'm the last person they see, and they see that I'm so helpful. Mm-hmm. And those last 20 minutes are the best 20 minutes. That's bonding. Very often they'll say, oh, let's shoot out for a drink afterwards. Thanks for helping me. Let's pop on out. And then the relationship goes into overdrive. That's when the MBA in networking kicks in, the PhD kicks in. And I've had unbelievable relationships because these people putting the events on are always short-staffed.
Right.
When it comes time to pack up, all their friends are gone. Mm-hmm. And it's just them, and they're packing up cables and monitors and things. That's the way to drive those relationships home.
That's a great idea. Thank you so much, Mike.
You're very welcome.
Very helpful. So there's our show for today. Some great tips on networking from Mike O'Neill. And I'm Irene Williams with Small Biz Big Time.